Spinning. Right hand from Golovkin. 0-9 from the crowd. 1-2 blocked by Triple G. Jab from Golovkin. Another jab from Triple G. Right hand Canelo.
The jab is still the best punch in Golovkin's arsenal, and it's the punch he's landed most consistently in this rematch.
Good right hand from Gennady Golovkin.
That right hand might have shook Canelo just a little bit.
It might have. As Canelo has his hands down, it might have dazed him.
Walking down Canelo. Shots! The crowd erupting. Canelo with a counter left hook. Munguia with his best work here in the final seconds. Managed to come away with a disputed draw in that fight, but Bevo. Counter. Right hand. Canelo missed 3 punches.
So right now Crawford is headhunting and George is out. Bottom of the solid right hand again. He's not going to be able to take too many more of these interested in engage right now. Now he waits. Gets nailed again.
Crawford's taking it off the gears.
Hey everyone, what's up? Just want to cover this scenario real quick. Canelo, he does make a lot of mistakes, and oftentimes he has not really fought people who have been able to exploit him, at least to a certain extent, that a caliber fighter, counterpuncher, and guy who can seize openings like Bud have been able to catch on to. Bivol, Floyd Mayweather, those are all great fighters. Laura, highly skilled, technical as well, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes to actually landing punches where someone does not see, Canelo has not faced that yet. He's not faced a guy with Bud's timing. You guys could say maybe a Floyd Mayweather, but Floyd Mayweather, Bivol, they're both defensive-minded than they are offensive. And even though Bivol throws a lot of punches, things like that, he's not necessarily looking for the knockout. Bud, on the other hand, you guys always talk about how he gets hit and all this other crap. He is more aggressive and he does take more chances. And I think, given the scenario that I showed you, if he were to hurt Canelo or get the knockout, this would be the best scenario with Canelo's crazy left hook. And you guys will be seeing images while we're talking here. But it's no secret. I don't even have to get too far into this crap. But you guys have seen Canelo when he sets up his left hook. He'll either drop it far low, you know. His right hand will be raised up above his head, so he's wide open for a perfectly timed shot. Now, I provided clips where plenty of guys were able to seize that opportunity, especially when he's doing his delayed leanbacks on guys. I mean, come on, you know. The thing is it's a mind game for most people, and Bivol has gone over this. Bivol was telling everybody, this guy's just a man. And this is the first step that Crawford is going to need to consider when he's in this fight. We saw guys like Jermell Charlo lay down. They let the moment and everything else kind of put them in a state of fear, things like that. Crawford needs to understand that the man standing in front of you is a man. And although everyone swears up and down, you know, just like they swear up and down, Canelo's this highly skilled technical fighter. You know, I personally don't think he's a generational talent. I don't. He wins this fight, it's going to be because of faulty judging, or he does manage to land a punch on Crawford that's going to knock him out. You know what I'm saying? And again, if he does manage to even knock a Crawford down, he's going to have to face Mr. Hyde, essentially. But Crawford's competitive nature is insane. You understand? A lot of these guys, they haven't really been getting it out of him. Madrimov and these type of guys, they've all been playing it safe. This is another thing, too. all these bigger guys, they never fight Bud like a bigger man, and I don't think it's going to be the case here in the Canelo versus Terrence Crawford fight. I think Canelo is going to try to be the counterpuncher and be the slicker, more skilled fighter, and I think that is going to bite him in the butt in this fight. Now, we're all talking about, can Crawford hurt Canelo? Canelo has the greatest chin and all that nonsense. Well, he's been hurt before, and he's been hurt by guys like Jose Cotto. It's the punch you don't see, and I am still going with decision. I'm not going to veer off my original prediction, and I came out with my prediction months in advance before this fight came out. But here's the thing. Crawford, he has fallen in love with the southpaw position. I think he feels more comfortable having a stronger hand. As a lead, it's a powerful, devastating weapon. I'm sorry, guys. You know what I'm saying? If Crawford is able to time Canelo perfectly, he not only can hurt him, he can stop him. Because Crawford is, again, he's probably one of the best finishers in the game today. Canelo, not so much. Canelo's, again, he likes to just sit around, try to land a big punch. You know what I'm saying? And you see him let guys off the hook like a Berlanga, like whoever else. You know what I'm saying? He's not really getting these KOs anymore. Another thing, too, though, is, I've showed you scenarios where, if Canelo gets lulled to sleep and if his right hand drops, things like that, some of these fighters, they had great opportunities to actually hurt and get Canelo out of there, Bivol being one of them. And Bivol doesn't go for the knockout. And understand this, Crawford already has the right approach that he needs to with this fight. Don't go looking for the knockout. Do you understand? There's no point. But if he does find himself, if he's in a dire situation, even when he thought he was in a dire situation against Porter, for example, and he's able to flip the switch, I'm showing you a highly probability-wise scenario that will occur if he is able to hurt and actually knock out Canelo. And like I said, if Canelo's drunk on his feet, I'm sorry. Bud Crawford, again, we've talked about this plenty of times in my day ones and the people who've frequent this channel throughout the years. I always tell you how Crawford is a guy who actually knows how to juggle opponents. A lot of people, they throw flurries. A lot of guys, they throw combinations, you understand. But they're not highly accurate, and they get points for effort and things like that. You understand? But Crawford, he's a guy, he can chain 5, 6, 7, 8 punches together if he wants to. And he did it against, plenty of opponents. He's highly accurate, you know what I'm saying? And again, this is also a guy who is a master of timing and a master of seizing openings that his opponents oftentimes aren't ready for, Again, but here's the thing, though, Crawford, if he fights in the southpaw position, I believe he needs to get back to his roots and his conventional roots. You don't have to worry too much about Canelo's crazy, stupid, cinematic left hook. It's a retarded left hook, guys. I'm sorry. This guy literally opens himself wide open. And so if Crawford's able to position himself in the right position, he can make Canelo's chin snap back into that shoulder all night. If you start incorporating the lead rights, again, and your jab, you're also implementing body work and everything else with Canelo. Again, Crawford, he's got a full array of skills in his tool bag. And as Canelo gets tired, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot easier for this scenario to occur during the fight. Guys, listen to me. This is not an impossible scenario nor a situation. It's just Canelo, he's been fighting guys I don't think that can seize this opportunity. Now, I showed you again, here's where it'll really get pretty bad for Canelo. If he does actually sell out on these left hooks, when he opens himself up and drops that left, you understand, it's there all night. It literally is there all night. You just haven't seen too many people seize and take advantage of it. Crawford, in his last fight, we went over it, the Madrimov fight, how he was able to time Madrimov with all that movement and feints in there. It couldn't have been a more perfect fight. And Southpaw, his same approach that he took in the Madrimov fight, it's going to get him success, but it's the safe road, and it's the road of comfortability as well for Terrence Crawford. He's gotten comfortable in southpaw because, again, it already puts him at angles that it's going to make his opponents more hard to judge. But you're also putting yourself in a situation where you're giving Canelo's right hand more probability of landing, you know. Now, do I think Crawford's more skill, all that stuff? Is he going to be the faster fighter? I believe so, you know. But at the end of the day, I think it would be highly advantageous if Crawford gets back into his roots, going into the conventional stance for good portions of this fight, more than he has in these past few years at welterweight and everything else. And what it's going to do is it's going to, instead of Canelo's offensive attack mostly being funneled to the right end, just like we saw against Madrimov, it's going to make more of his attack. You're going to take away the right and conventional, and you're going to funnel Canelo's most offensive attacks to a hand other than the left hook he has really no success with. Canelo always loses the lead hand battle, and in fact, Canelo always loses a bunch of rounds, guys. You know, this is Canelo Alvarez. I've been going over these points over and over again for those who've been sticking around actually watching these videos, you know what I'm saying? But if I'm Terrence Crawford, why do I have to make my job harder? You know, he's got a devastating 1-2. If you've seen guys like Delorme, the way he's able to time and catch guys when they least suspect it again. And these are guys, you know, who are in high guard, who drop their hands when they attack. And Crawford, he's been timing. And the Madrimov fight, again, only highlights that fact that he's still able to do that and still land some devastating shots, you know, when he wants to. With Canelo, too, him being the high guard, the uppercuts, the body. Dude, Crawford can become a Picasso in this fight if he really wants to. If you see some of his old fights, such as the Gamboa and even the Amir Khan, his shifts from conventional to southpaw, if he does that in this fight as well, it would confuse Canelo so bad, guys. I'm not even joking. But you can only spot these shifts if you're really paying attention, because he does it so seamlessly and smoothly. I'm trying to tell you guys, watch the Gamboa and even the Amir Khan fights and certain sequences and things like that. He's gone away from that, and he's fully sold mostly on just fighting southpaw. And listen, the issues that were giving him problems in the Madrimov fight, and this happened in the fight as well. Man, it started with the R. Beltran fight, where he just basically beat Beltran with the jab all night. But there comes a point where the opponent, and Beltran was bigger than Crawford as well, and he had success same way Madrimov had success. Crawford gets to a point where when he doesn't sit on his jab, you know what I'm saying, and this is a bigger guy you're fighting in this fight, who's used to fighting bigger guys. The guys were eventually able to, okay, I'll just take the jab or I'll block it, and then I'll just come with my right. And he was landing the same type of shots on Crawford as Madrimov was landing. But these were, you know, very measured, pinpoint, surgical type shots with not fully sold power on them. You know, these guys always have respect for Crawford's power and counter punching, and it's going to be no different in this fight, regardless of the fact that Crawford is moving up 2 or 3 weight classes. But you get what I'm trying to tell you. These bigger men, the last guy that tried to be a bully and everything else was Jeff Horn, guys. I'm sorry. And Jeff Horn found out what time it is. This is a guy himself who moved up, fought at 160. You can say whatever you want about Jeff Horn, but Crawford has always fought guys who've weighed around the weight that Canelo is fighting at right now. It's just that simple, you know. I don't think Canelo's going to be like 180 on fight night. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, guys. He's trying to slim down. So, again, we'll just see how this plays out on fight night. You know, when Canelo moved up to 175, you saw how Bivol was able to, you know, shove him down by his head, and Canelo fell to the ground a couple times. You'll see that in the later rounds, things like that. You know what I'm saying? But Canelo, it's going to be a chess match. Canelo's not going to go full-blown, you know, Mexican style on Terrence Crawford, especially when he's getting countered and things like that. And again, as Canelo does get tired, because it's going to happen, even in the Triple G fight too, you know, Canelo did pretty good the first 8 rounds with his stamina, but GGG was able to seize and capitalize the championship rounds. Now, GGG himself has stamina issues, you know, and he got tired after he did hurt Canelo, and he was trying to chase Canelo's head and things like that. Crawford has far better discipline in those types of situations, and he can seize openings better. You know, he doesn't get too greedy in those situations. If a guy's body is available in those situations that he has guys hurt, he's going to go to the body. If the head is there, he's going to go to the head. And like I said, he can juggle people. He can chain his punches together where they're actually landing. They're not just throwing flurries and things like that. No, he's quite accurate. And again, as Canelo starts to fatigue in this fight, if Crawford can get him to round, 4 and beyond, Canelo's mental fortitude, faculty, and things like it's going to lessen, especially if he's getting outboxed, getting hard punches landed on. He's going to get frustrated and things like that. This is a highly probable scenario, and I'm just trying to let you guys know. Now, you guys are still banking on sides, just like the Spence fans and everybody else. He's always been in these scenarios where he's been fighting bigger guys. The Madrimov fight, he came with his Dak Prescott approach when he got 2 weeks' notice, moved up a weight class, and then moved back down after he did to Prescott. But he wasn't really selling on the power. He did open up later in the later rounds against what's his name, but he had Prescott frustrated, things like that. He took that same approach in the Madrimov fight. In this fight, he is going to have to get Canelo's respect, unfortunately. Canelo, again, is just going to turn to haymakers when he's not having success. And he's going to hope that the judges give him rounds, that are just landing hard, whether they're landing true scoring punches or not, because you're supposed to score defense when a guy's, the only guy I've seen knock the guy out because he screwed up their arm was it Roy Jones? And I can't remember who he beat, where he just kept hitting this dude's arm, and the dude had to stop the fight. I'd have to look that up, man. It's been forever. But yes, this is a probable scenario. It can occur. And again, if Crawford, if he wants to just get out of his comfortability, his comfort zone for a little bit, and, he's devastating in the conventional stance, and he hasn't been going to it, you know what I'm saying, in these past few fights. I don't know if it could be to an injury or something. I just do not know. But his left jab, it's just almost as good as his right. It truly is. You know what I'm saying? I know it feels comfortable having your more powerful lead hand in that position. You gain confidence. And again, the angles too cuts down, information, and it's a shortcut to a certain extent. But if he wants to go in conventional in this fight, he has a higher probability to actually knock out Canelo. That's all I really have to say for now. And I reiterate, guys, Bud is the only guy who can do the impossible, catch Canelo perfectly timed shot when he opens up with his goofy left hook. It's just that simple, or he does something stupid with it. Talk to you later, guys. Bye.